The City of Albuquerque Public Art Urban Enhancement Division and Department of Arts and Culture proudly present Take Another Look. Built on the foundation of two city ordinances, Art in Municipal Places, and the Urban Enhancement Trust Fund, the Public Art Urban Enhancement Division provides funds to artists to create art for the public, as well as arts organizations for arts and cultural programming. Join us as we discuss everything related to funding artists in the public realm with host Joni Palmer.
Hello, I'm Joni Palmer, and welcome back to Take Another Look at Albuquerque's Public Art. Thank you for tuning in today for the first episode of 2026. Today, I will be talking with Michael Ogilvie, the new Public Art Urban Enhancement Division Manager, that's a mouthful, for the City of Albuquerque. He is known for his collaborative approach and passion for community-centered art. He brings over 30 years of experience in the arts and has led several public art programs, including Clark County in Las Vegas in Nevada, and as well as San Jose, California. So thank you for joining us in the gallery today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is great. And we're in Gallery 1. Once again, it's been a few episodes since we've been in this space with a new exhibit, and we will talk about that later on in our conversation.
Great.
Okay, so before we jump into what brought you to Albuquerque, I'd like to hear a little bit about your education, your experience as an artist,
Sure.
but also as an arts administrator.
Okay, well, I'm happy to do that. And thank you, Joni, for hosting this. I really appreciate it. My background is as an artist. I started out, I got my Bachelor of Arts in studio art. And really kind of, even before I got that degree, I was drawing on a pretty regular, obsessive basis, trying to get the visions that I had in my head and the narratives that I had in my head out onto paper. And so it kind of started to compel me at the age of 14 to really want to be good at this, and it was something I enjoyed. And I thought, well, maybe I could make a career of it. I didn't realize, I was naive at the time, at how hard that would be.
Right?
But it's all worth it. You know, from the artist to an arts administrator, all of the challenges have been really enjoyable. So I got my Bachelor of Arts at the University of Nevada, Reno, and then my Master of Fine Arts at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And upon graduating, an opening happened at the City of Las Vegas for a public art administrator. They had just implemented their Percent for Art program, and I had finished a couple of public art projects as an artist prior to that, and I really enjoyed that process. It's so different than working within the studio because you do engage with the community. There's not a silo. It's like you're out in the community, you're getting input from the community. Sometimes it's merited, sometimes it isn't, but it's always like that's part of the baking the cake. And so I applied for that position, and I was fortunate enough to get it. And that kind of launched my career as an administrator. So I really kind of spent the first 10 years as an artist doing a lot of illustration work, cartoon work, public art, wherever I could freelance to make funding. You know, as an artist, you have to hustle, and then when I got the administrator position, it kind of segued into where I am today through many years of experience doing that with Clark County, Las Vegas, Nevada, as well as San Jose, California.
Now, do you still do your artwork? Are you still obsessively drawing?
Yes, I did. Funny, I just finished a gift for my wife, a drawing of our baby. She's been asking it for a while, and I had a lot of fun doing it. It reminded me just how much I truly enjoy that. But it's not on the level that I did once when I was professionally doing it.
You've got other things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Yeah.
So,
but it's still one of the things that I really enjoy and look forward to doing when I can.
And so when you first went into the arts administration world, because a lot of artists end up working in the arts administration world, and for a variety of reasons, was it a big transition?
I think probably the biggest transition was just knowing, I mean, there's politics at play, right? And you kind of have to understand what the politics are of the place. And so that navigating that can be somewhat challenging, especially if there aren't guidelines in place or if there aren't measures in place to protect an artist's creative liberty, because you don't want to be in a position where you're telling the artist what to do. You want the artist to be inspired by the community, and then the artists have the creative liberty to create whatever it is that's going to be tailored to that specific community. And that's kind of the ideal goal. That's what we strive for. that was kind of the challenge to especially early in my career, just recognizing that I had to be able to convince and educate many people along the way to ensure that creative liberty is protected on the artist side. So, and that never really goes away, but I will say there are places that are more amenable to it, and there's perspectives more amenable to it, and it just depends. So.
And it's good to have that background as an artist and then going into administration.
It really helps because I can communicate with the artist, and if there is a change that's needed that would make the design better, I feel like I can articulate that in a way that the artist would understand, so there's less confrontation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have any major influences in your artistic practice or a mentor in terms of arts administration?
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about that question. There's so many influences along the way, from family to my spouse to, just the friends, and of course, then there's mentors. Like I have a mentor from graduate school who I still I'm friends with, and I reach out to. His name is Jim Pink, and he's been a pivotal guiding force in my life. And so I've had other mentors on an artistic realm, not just with artists I've worked with, but when I was illustrating and doing cartooning, I had a pen pal relationship with Robert Crumb, and that kind of helped.
Oh, that's fabulous.
He's brutally honest.
Yeah, I would imagine he would be.
But he really helped me hone my craft, and it wasn't something I was getting in a lot of places. So it was really it really opened up my ability to express a narrative in a way that was clear to an audience. So. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. It's nice to have mentors. Not everyone does.
No. Yeah, it's true. I'm very fortunate in that regard. Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your new position here. So you stepped into this leadership role late October, early November of last year, 2025, following a competitive national search for the new Public Art Urban Enhancement Division manager. So what drew you to Albuquerque? Why Albuquerque, New Mexico?
I'm going to have to credit my wife with that. She really, she's had a long-standing romance with this state, and Albuquerque is one of the destinations she tuned me into a long time ago. I have had family live here before, but it never really dawned on me just how special this place was until my wife and I visited, and we saw some friends, and we both were just just convinced this is a place we would like to be one day. We didn't know how that was going to happen,
right?
But we were open to any opportunity that might come up. And this was over a decade ago, and so flash forward a decade later.
Yeah, there's an opportunity.
The opportunity came up, and I was like, are we in a position to do it? We have 2 babies now, so it was this would be a big, difficult move to do. But when the opportunity presented itself, we didn't second guess it. It's that's where we want to be. So,
Oh, that's great. So not only Albuquerque that drew you, you'd been thinking about it, but what stood out to you and made you want to apply for this position? What stood out to you about the division and what's happening here in terms of arts and culture?
Well, for starters, it's a great team. Everybody here, and it's a full team, and that's unusual. A lot of public art programs in the nation are run by 1, maybe 2 people, or maybe a part-time person, or somebody who's in economic development, not even really interested in the arts. Albuquerque has a way of recognizing, 1, that culture is an integral element to life here, and then 2, supporting that and making sure that there are avenues for artists to create, to make commissions, to display their work. And that goes on the administrative side. You have to have the administrative support to be able to do that, to be able to help all of these organizations.
Yeah.
You also have to have a funding apparatus. And one thing that's really unique about Albuquerque is the UETF fund, which was the Urban Enhancement Trust Fund, created in 1981. And it was really kind of a situation where the city got a windfall amount of money from a lawsuit. And that money, the council members, most councils would probably just put that money to road repair or something like that, which is a valid use. But they realized that, if we really want to incubate and grow our creative economy here, we could put this into a trust fund and then use the revenue of that to support our artists. That's groundbreaking.
Yeah.
No other city did that.
It's awesome. Yeah.
San Francisco did it 30 years later in 2012, but it's this is a really unique approach. And just, I'm thankful to those council members at the time who had the foresight to do that.
Yeah,
It's really, there's a really unique funding apparatus here. There's that, and then there's a 1.5% for the arts. Most cities are percent for arts.
Right.
So that 1.5% can help create temporary artworks. It can help conservation and maintenance, and all of that's written into the percent for art ordinance now. And so the funding apparatus is quite unique and much more friendly towards the arts than many other cities out there.
Yeah. Well, speaking about friendly to the arts, we're here in Gallery 1.
Yeah.
And do you want to tell us a little bit about this exhibit that's here?
Yeah, so this is the employee exhibit. So employees of the city of Albuquerque this is their own work. This is the work, and they don't create this on the company dime. This is in their own time.
Yeah.
But what you see here is really indicative of what I was saying, in that culture is embedded in a way of life here. It's a part of everyday life, and I mean, that's something that could probably be said. I mean, it has been for hundreds, if not thousands of years. You could go to the petroglyph monument, and that's a testament to that philosophy. And so there's a lot of fantastic work in this show. If you have not had a chance to see it, please come down and see it. It really is great. We have 67 artworks from all departments within the city. So we have a lot of creative people doing a lot of creative problem solving to make this city a better livable place.
Yeah, and I'm just going to do a shout out. Please come down and check it out. The gallery is open during your regular business hours, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And you can come see Michael's work, which is up on the wall behind us.
Yeah.
So it would be a great way to have some more information about our new director.
Yes, and many other employees' artworks as well. I don't want to take the spotlight, so yeah.
Well, so do you know of other programs that have something like this? Is this gallery unique for a public art program to have?
I would say it's unique in its setup. It's a really nice gallery, number one. It's not just a hallway space. A lot of places do try and do exhibit spaces, but it's kind of an afterthought, where this is built in. This is not an afterthought. This is a centerpiece. So in that regard, it's really unique. And most cities do some type of, from my experience and being a member of the Americans for the Arts and other organizations, most cities do make an effort to have some sort of exhibit space within the framework of the civic enterprise. But they also have often policies or guidelines that restrict content in a way that may not feel like the flavor is truly as creative as it could be. So there's really not a lot of restrictions here. We do put out a call for artists' exhibits and collective exhibits, and those calls are reviewed by an arts board. But it's pretty much it's restricted to whatever the creative content is that they come up with. Now that it does have to be G-rated with that in mind. I mean, it can't obviously touch on some subjects that would be problematic for not a general audience. So, but it's really an open space for creativity to bloom, and that can't be said about every, in my experience, from every exhibit space that's within a government institution. There's usually a lot of restrictive type content that is allowed within those spaces, or content that has to be thematic to whatever approach that government might have. So. And
how long is this exhibit up?
This is up through February, and
great.
Our next exhibit goes up in March. I think the takedown is the third or fourth week of February.
Oh, okay. So that gives people some time to come in and check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you've already mentioned it is the Urban Enhancement Fund, because we've discussed in previous episodes that the Public Art Urban Enhancement Division is built on the foundation of two city ordinances. The first is the Art in Municipal Places, and that's more commonly known as the Albuquerque Public Art Program, and the Urban Enhancement Fund. So from your perspective, regarding other programs nationally, how is this division, how is it structured, and just also maybe even philosophically, how is it similar, but how is it different from other programs?
Well, it's different in that it has a trust fund, and I only know one other city that has that, and it was implemented much later, and it was driven primarily by private percent for arts. So developers that didn't want to have public art would pay an in lieu fee into their trust fund. So it's really unique. I mean, I can't stress that enough. That is a really fantastic facet
Mm-hmm.
of both of those sources of revenue of the funding apparatus. And then the public art too, the percent for art, 1.5% for art that this program leads in the city is unique in that that funding can go towards temporary public art projects.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of ordinances have that. Most ordinances that I've experienced are tied to permanent capital construction, so there's a little bit of flexibility there.
Right.
And that also kind of saves on long-term maintenance burden, because if you're installing a fantastic outdoor sculpture, it's there for a little while, and then you bring something else in and that one goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And when that goes away, that means you don't have that long-term maintenance burden. So it kind of saves a little bit on that.
Mm-hmm.
But then all of the artworks that we have in the collection, the over 1,600 artworks that are permanent, we do have the fund source can also help with the maintenance conservation on that. And that is also very unique.
Yeah.
Most programs do not, that was not a foresight that was implemented into percent for arts programs. And most programs have to struggle to get maintenance conservation dollars to support the needs of just keeping the collection looking good.
Right,
So-
right. And so also, I mean, along with that, and I would, and you're starting to lead into this next question, is what are the core strengths of this particular division and the programs, the trust fund as well as the public art program?
Definitely one of the core strengths is the team. We've got a very experienced team who's been doing this for a while. They each kind of have their set responsibilities their expertise. Then we also share a lot of expertise. We all have curatorial experience. We all have contract experience. So I mean, there's a lot of things that we can help each other with along the way. It's really great to have that kind of a collaborative environment, and can make for a much more progressive development in public art projects across the board. So that's definitely one of the best strengths of the program is the team. And then, the leadership here. We have a really great leadership here from the mayor, city council on down. We have a fantastic leadership team and a Department of Arts and Culture that is really proactive in nurturing and sustaining the arts in this city. And we're a piece of that, and we're supported by that. And that's unique. There's not a lot of cities that have a Department of Arts and Culture that's fully staffed, that really makes sure that the culture is incubated, is nurtured, it grows, and it has places to breathe. It's a fantastic organization in that regard. And so,
and so I guess my next question is more about, kind of the future. Not that you are in any way ready, just being 2.5 months in, right? But these strengths, what do you see them as fueling for the future? The public art program?
Well, I do think that you'll see I feel like my role here isn't to come in and pick up an organization that's failing, because that's not the case. This is a strong, successful program and has been for many years, and that's credit to my predecessor and all the people that came before that built this up. So I feel like I'm coming in, I want to sustain success. I also want to take what I've learned along the way and where I think I can bring things in that might make this program stronger and grow, I will. One of the things I've seen throughout cities that some cities have done well and some haven't is, yes, the support is there for the artists here, for commissions and things like that, but I do see that there's not a lot of studio spaces. Most of the studio spaces here that I've looked into, they're full or they have waiting lists.
Yeah.
And in some cases, hundreds of people waiting.
Right.
So it's like there's a demand for studio space here, and that's something that it would be great to see the city capitalize on, because there are vacant properties that could be converted pretty easily to studio spaces, and that could really provide that location for artists to congregate and to generate ideas and generate economic activity. And there's been some cities that have done that really well. Wynwood, Miami, Soho, New York, San Francisco's done that pretty well. I mean, there's cities that have really looked at that facet of artist support to realize that artists are an asset, but they need a place to create and they need a place to congregate. And so how can we help that happen? So I think that is a piece of the puzzle I'd like to kind of explore and work on while I'm here, because I do think that there is that need, and it could be, and it has a lot of potential. So.
Yeah, and that's been an issue for a while now.
Yeah.
And it's not just here. It's not just Albuquerque.
It's not. Yeah. It's all over. Yeah.
And we have ways to share these best practices and things like that, as you're mentioning, with some other programs, which I'm sure you're engaged with these other program directors and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's, I mean, and I'm not saying anything bad. What I'm saying, though, is I just see that there's a need here, and how can this need be met by the resources that we have at our hands? So
that's one of the things that you've learned about in terms of the Albuquerque's creative community. What are some other things you've learned, noticed, been surprised by as you've been here for just almost 3 months?
I mean, the abundance of art is kind of mind-blowing. There's a lot of art out there in the public realm. People could just, I mean, it's almost on every corner, and that's fantastic. That's really, really unique to this city. Not every city has it. They might have pockets of areas where there's a lot of public art or some public art, but to have such an abundance available to the public here is really, that's really struck me as unique. The other thing too is just how there's an intellectual creativity here that transverses not just artists but everybody, and like this is a testament to that. I mean, I don't know if these folks if everybody hanging here would consider themselves an artist.
Right.
Maybe not a working artist, but they certainly have a level of creativity that is within them that is compelling them to want to get that work out there, and that is something unique about this place. I mean, I've encountered a lot of people who aren't artists, but still have like these creative endeavors that they're doing, and it's like, wow, this is a philosophy. It's like an Albuquerque philosophy. So just coming from the outside, that has kind of surprised me. I wasn't sure. I mean, I knew it was an enculturated place, and there's lots of art here, but I didn't really realize just how important and valued it is, and I think that's pretty spectacular and unique to the city.
Yeah, I found that as well. So what do you look forward to learning more about this artist community? Are there any questions that you have or things that you're like, I really need to look into that? I really want to get to know this.
Yeah, I think I've got a long way to go. I think I mean, I feel I probably average about 4 to 5 meetings a day, and so I'm meeting a lot of people, and I'm getting a really good sense of the community. But there are thousands of artists here, and so like it just not only getting a sense of people individually, but in congregate, getting to know people, going to openings. That's a part of the work to really understand what folks are valuing, where the needs are, and how we can best serve those needs. So I think that's going to be definitely a work in progress for quite some time, and it never really stops. It shouldn't, because you should constantly be reevaluating where the needs are and how we can meet them. So it's something I'm looking forward to. And
what about in terms of how the program supports artists and these creative individuals? What is what we have to offer? Again, I'm asking you about compared to other programs that you know of.
Sure.
How is it different? And also, what are the different ways that you're thinking about the growing of that support?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things. I would like to see the Urban Enhancement Trust Fund. Right now, it grows off of the investments of that trust fund. So every 2 years, a payout happens. The majority of that payout of interest earned on that money goes to local arts organizations. 10% of it goes back in to reinvest. I think exploring ways of growing that fund would behoove the city for the future, and that's definitely one of the things that I want to take a look at and see how we can do that. I mean, I've seen how San Francisco did it through their private percent for arts ordinance.
Right.
We don't have a private percent for arts ordinance here, so maybe that's something that could be explored. A lot of that is contingent upon developer goodwill.
Right.
So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what the waters are like in that regard here. So that's something that I'd need to figure out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And what was, I'm sorry, what was, I feel like that was a two-part question.
Well, and so, but you did answer it in terms of building on what has been offered. But what other arts and cultural programming support, and this is going back to the places that you've been, that that you think are really strong and that you can continue to grow them?
Yeah, I think that what we're doing with the resiliency residency is a really fantastic way for singular artists to really maximize what that fund can provide within their own creative wheelhouse, and then share that with the public. And it's we work with two organizations who really kind of steward the individual artists and help facilitate the administrative process. But it's one of those things that I could see it would be great if we could expand that. But it's one of those things that it happens every couple of years, and it could happen more, and there could be more artists, and there was more artists in the past, and it's all contingent upon, and that's something that ties back into growing the UETF fund. If we can grow that, then we can create more opportunities for artists, and hire more artists, and commission more artists, and provide grants to more arts organizations, and so all of that is kind of it's really tied together.
How is your day any different here than where you came from? Like a typical day, you said you have a lot of meetings every day. And is it different here in Albuquerque? And
yeah, I do think so. I mean, in some ways, the work here is more on the creative side, whereas work in other places has been heavy on like the fiscal side. I mean, they both go hand in hand. You're going to have it in any organization, but sometimes one is a little bit heavier than the others, and I like that. I like being more on the creative side. I could do the fiscal side. I'm a numbers person, so it's something I can handle, but and I'm good at. But I really enjoy the creative side, and so the more that we can continue to come up and develop unique projects that really impact place and people, I think that is one of the biggest differences I see in the work here so far. And then just the level of support internally from departments. I mean, most departments are like, yeah, totally, we'd love to have art in our project.
That's awesome.
I can't speak that way about every city.
Right.
I'm not going to speak bad about any city. But I'm saying there's often roadblocks, there's turf wars, there's all kinds of things. And so far, and again, I'm only here 2.5 months right now. So far, it's been pretty, the reception has been really warm. And I could tell that there's a fondness that many department leaders share in regards to the art in the city.
That's great.
So I mean, it's their art too. So.
Is there anything else before we have just a couple more minutes? Anything else you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah, I mean, just thank you, people of Albuquerque. I mean, your support is unwavering and has been for many decades of the art in this city, and so and thank you to all the leadership that came before me, and my wife for really inspiring and introducing me to New Mexico, and just this I feel like in the arts, one of the things in the arts is like the harder you work, the luckier you get, and I feel like I've gotten really lucky. So
nice.
So I'm very appreciative.
Well, thanks for deciding to come join us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for what you do. This is a great, unique show.
Oh, thank you.
It's not, that's something I meant to say. There's no other programs that have something like this. This is really special, and it's something that I just think you've really kind of come up with a concept that works really well to get this dialogue out there into the public.
Yeah, and it's fun, and we're always looking for new ideas and topics and artists and whatever. So if audience, you have any ideas you want to share with us, please do so. You can email us on, I'm not thinking of the email address right now, but it's on the website, the CABQ website. Always open for ideas.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, well, thanks again for joining me in the gallery today. And it just so happens he's sitting right in front of his own work, which we love, and all the other work in here. It's pretty phenomenal.
It is, yeah.
So, dear listeners, you can learn more about the Public Art program at cabq.gov/publicart. and the Urban Enhancement Trust Fund at cabq.gov/UETF. You can find all of this information along with a lot of other resources in our newsletter. You can find the newsletter and you can sign up for the newsletter on the Public Art webpage. So thank you for listening. I hope you will join us for our next set of episodes where we switch gears and focus on public art and Route 66. So the city is strong into celebration.
Yes.
We hope that after you've listened to this podcast that you will take another look at Albuquerque's public art. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
To learn more about the Albuquerque Public Art Program, the Public Art Collection, opportunities for artists, and so much more, visit cabq.gov/publicart. To learn more about the Urban Enhancement Trust Fund, visit cabq.gov/UETF. Tune in next time to take another look at the City of Albuquerque Public Art Urban Enhancement Division.